it, boss.
Hello and welcome to Crumpin' Kitchen, the orkiest cooking show on the internet. Except this time it's actually a cooking show. Hello everybody, today we're doing something very silly. I'm going to be showing you how to cook an Eatin Squig. I'm kind of making this recipe as I go, flying by the seat of my pants, so we'll see how it turns out together. Now if you were to try and make a lore-accurate Eatin Squig, it would be horrible. There's lots of accounts of squig hide being really tough, they live on orc droppings and Gretchen, they might bite your throat out partway through your meal. So instead, I'm making something a little more palatable. You could try serving this as a themed snack if you're hosting a crusade, or maybe you want to make this for your grots who are getting interested in the hobby. In terms of ingredients, I am really kind of making it up as I go, so I'm just going to put them all on the screen, and you can pause and read them once I figured what it all is at the end. Got that? Let's go. I'm going to start with half an onion and a butt ton of garlic. Just too much garlic. Because I like garlic. It's like 7 cloves or something. Throw some olive oil in a pan, and then we'll add our onion and garlic. We're just going to keep these moving so they don't burn, and we're going to let them sizzle until the onions start to brown and the garlic starts to smell even better. In the meantime, we can carry on with our meat. I've got a whole bunch of pork mince here. I'm using pork because orcs are generally associated with pigs. In the Hell's Reach book, the orc's speech is described as sounding like porcine squealing to the Marines, and we see a lot of boars in older Warhammer, and we still see them in Age of Sigmar, so we're using pork mince for this. While our aromatics are aromaticking, we can start to season this. I'm going to throw in some salt, some pepper, and some paprika to make it nice and savory. And since squigs, like all orcoids, are fungal creatures, I'm going to throw in a cup of sliced mushrooms. Let's squidge that together. I think it needs more mushroom. And let's go crazy, how about a little soy sauce? So the garlic and the onion are looking fantastic. It's time to throw them in with the meat. Now if you were being a normal person, you could mix this up, cook it in patties, and serve squig burgers. This is our base squig meat, and you could just leave it here. But we're gonna go sillier. I'd like to make a whole Eatin Squig based on this appetizing reference image.
Good old squig, look at that!
So we're gonna mix this around, and then I'm gonna add some things that'll let us sculpt with it a bit. Let's try cracking in a whole egg, and then let's try tossing in some corn flour, or cornstarch for the Americans. Let's see how we go with 3 tablespoons. Alright, time to squidge. Alright, I've mixed in the corn flour. I used an extra tablespoon, so that's 4 tablespoons, and it made all the hairs on my neck and back stand on end because I hate the texture of corn flour. But now we have a firm squig dough. I'm hoping we can shape this into a kind of rectangular tadpole-y thing. We'll throw that in the pan with some olive oil and see if we can cook ourselves a nice little squig puck. Here we go. God, it's a hassle oiling the pan again every time. Now I know why Big Macs keep a grot oiler on hand. Alright, we've got our squig blob in the pan. Sizzling nicely. We'll turn it over a few times to make sure it gets cooked all the way through, because as much fun as it is to play pretend and move around toy soldiers and stuff, it is not fun getting salmonella. If this was thicker, if it was like a rectangular prism, maybe you could cook each side, kind of like rolling around a sausage in the pan. But for this, I think we're just going to have to keep turning it so that it doesn't stick and burn on one side, but we can still cook it all the way through, including on the edges here. It's sizzling nicely, it's picking up some char, but I can't actually tell if the meat is cooked or not. And I'm scared it's going to start to burn soon. I guess we'll just see how we go. It's maintaining its shape well though, that's the main thing. While we wait for this thing to maybe kill us with food poisoning, we're going to talk about how we'll decorate it. Now, we can't use fondant or anything, so I'm going to be using mashed potato to keep it as a savory meal, and also because I really couldn't think of anything else. But Aidan, squigs are red! I know. We're not going for the golden demon here, so just don't worry about how much you put in. If it's a little dark, then maybe you use corn red, who cares? That looks like a nice bright squiggly red to me. This looks about as cooked as it'll get. Now instead of doing the sensible thing and moving the frying pan over or taking a plate, I'm going to fly the squig over to the plate here. We're going to take our sculpting tools and we're going to cover this thing with some red squig skin. Just kind of take the potato and squidge it all around the surface of the squig. Think of it like base coating, if base coating was horrible. Alright, our squig's all covered up, and yeah, he looks like a horrible little lump of red stuff. So let's add some details. Now, we all know pork and applesauce goes together, so I'm going to cut up some apple and apply it as details for eyes and teeth. Using an apple corer, I've made 2 perfect holes. That gives us 2 funny little bug eyes. Now let's cut some triangles for teeth. Alright, so I've cut out some triangles for teeth on the apples. I've used a little extra mashed potato to cover the base of the teeth, so it looks like it has something of a snout and some lips. And I've put in some brow ridges as well to give him dumb, angry little eyes. This might be one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my life. Okay, let's get stuck in. Huh. I don't hate it. It's very dense. You can taste the graininess of the corn flour. It's kind of overpowering the other seasonings actually, so when you make this, because I'm sure many people will try and make this, make sure you put a little more seasoning than I did. Otherwise it's fine. It's just meat and mashed potatoes, and I love both of those already. Let's try an eyeball. Surprisingly good with the apple. It gives it some moisture and some sweetness. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna finish this. Let me show you the cross section on this report of the week style. And there you go. That's how you make an Eatin Squig. A themed snack for if you're hosting game night, something silly to make your kids, or dinner just in time for Squigmas. So I'll see you all in the next video, everyone. Merry Squigmas! Could do with more mushroom.
Sod off!